The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly before the UES Stormbreaker as it patrolled the outer reaches of human territory. Stars twinkled in the distance like scattered diamonds against black velvet. The massive battleship moved silently through the void, its dark hull reflecting the distant starlight. Captain Hanji Kim stood on the bridge, her back straight and her dark uniform pristine, her eyes focused intently on the holographic displays floating before her. The bridge crew worked efficiently at their stations, the soft hum of equipment providing a familiar background noise that had become like a second heartbeat to them all. Lieutenant Da Park's voice suddenly cut through the calm atmosphere. "Captain, sensors are picking up multiple signatures entering our space." His fingers moved swiftly across the glowing interface as he analyzed the incoming data. "The configurations are completely unknown. They don't match anything in our database." Hanji moved closer to his station, her boots making no sound on the polished floor. "Show me," she ordered quietly. The main display filled with streaming data, showing energy signatures unlike anything they had encountered before. The void ahead of them suddenly rippled like disturbed water. In a brilliant flash of light, multiple ships emerged from hyperspace. The alien vessels were beautiful in an otherworldly way. Their hulls appeared to be made of living crystal, pulsing with inner light in patterns that seemed almost like heartbeats. But beneath their ethereal beauty, Hanji could see the unmistakable signs of military design: weapon ports, shield generators, and armored plating. 15, 20, 30 ships detected, Captain, reported Lieutenant Park, his voice steady despite the tension building on the bridge. "They're arranging themselves in an attack formation." Hanji's expression remained calm, but her mind raced through tactical possibilities. The Stormbreaker was humanity's most advanced warship, but they had never faced this many unknown vessels at once. "Communications, open a channel. Let's try talking before things get unfriendly." The main screen flickered to life, and the bridge crew couldn't help but gasp. The alien commander was a tall, humanoid figure with iridescent scales covering its body. Multiple eyes, arranged in a symmetric pattern across its face, blinked independently at them. When it spoke, its voice carried both authority and arrogance. "I am Supreme Commander Rill of the Asterian Empire. You have been detected in our expansion territory. Submit to our authority or face immediate consequences." Hanji noticed how the alien commander's scales shifted color slightly as it spoke, perhaps an emotional indicator. She kept her voice level and professional as she responded. "This is Captain Hanji Kim of the United Earth ship Stormbreaker. I must correct your assumption, Commander. You have entered protected human space. We welcome peaceful dialogue, but we will not submit to threats." The alien's scales flickered with a deep red hue. "Protected space. We have never heard of humans. Your single ship, impressive as it may appear, cannot hope to stand against an Asterian battle fleet. I will give you one standard rotation to reconsider your position. After that, we will demonstrate why the Asterian Empire has conquered 12 star systems in the past solar cycle." Hanji's fingers tapped thoughtfully on the arm of her command chair. "Commander, I urge you to reconsider this course of action. Humanity has survived countless conflicts by being more than we appear. We prefer peace, but we are well prepared for war." Commander Rill's multiple eyes narrowed simultaneously. "Your bravery is admirable, but foolish. Perhaps we will keep your ship intact enough to study after we subdue you. It might provide interesting insights into your species' technology." The communication ended abruptly, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Hanji turned to her crew, noting their determined expressions. They all knew what was at stake. Not just their lives, but humanity's first contact with this new species. "Battle stations," she ordered calmly. "Power up defensive systems, but keep weapons in standby mode. Let's show our new friends why humanity has survived every threat we've ever faced." The Stormbreaker's quantum shields hummed to life as the alien fleet moved to surround them. The real test of humanity's technological advancement was about to begin, and Hanji Kim intended to make it a lesson the Asterian Empire would never forget. Commander Rill's multiple eyes glittered with amusement as he stared through the view screen at the human captain. The scales around his neck rippled with shades of gold, a clear sign of his confidence. A single vessel dares to challenge the might of the Asterian fleet. Your bravery is admirable but foolish. Perhaps we should preserve your brain for study to understand this interesting human trait. Captain Hanji remained outwardly calm, though her mind was already mapping out battle strategies. The Stormbreaker might be alone, but it carried humanity's most advanced defense and weapons systems. She had no intention of becoming an alien science experiment. Lieutenant Song. She called to her weapons officer without taking her eyes off the alien commander. Bring defensive systems to ready status. Keep weapons powered down but primed. Young Mi Song's fingers moved with practiced precision across her control panel. She had trained for years for exactly this kind of situation, though she never expected their first alien contact to turn hostile so quickly. Defensive systems activating, Captain. Quantum shield grid powering up. Weapon systems primed but dormant as ordered. The massive Stormbreaker hummed as its defensive systems engaged. An invisible barrier of pure energy formed around the vessel, created by the most advanced shield technology humanity had ever developed. The power readings on Yummi's display showed the shields operating at peak efficiency. Through the bridge windows, the crew watched as the Asterian fleet executed a complex maneuver. Their crystalline ships moved with fluid grace, taking up positions in a spherical formation around the Stormbreaker. Under different circumstances, Hanji might have admired the precision of their movements. Instead, she studied their positioning with a tactical eye. They're leaving gaps in their upper quadrant, she murmured to herself. Overconfident, they don't expect us to be able to exploit those vulnerabilities. She turned to her navigation officer. Keep track of those gaps. If we need to move, that's our path. Commander Rill's voice boomed through the bridge speakers again. Your ship is impressive in size, human, but size alone means nothing to the Asterian Empire. We have conquered species with vessels twice as large as yours. Their remains now orbit our throne world as trophies. Hanji noticed her bridge crew stiffen at the threat, but they remained focused on their duties. She felt a surge of pride in their professionalism. Lieutenant Park, scan their ships. I want to know everything about their weapon systems. Park's hands flew across his console as he analyzed the data streaming in from the Stormbreaker's advanced sensors. Their weapon ports appear to be plasma-based, Captain. Energy readings suggest they're more powerful than standard plasma cannons, but nothing our shields can't handle. Their hull composition is unusual, some kind of crystalline alloy we've never encountered before. The alien fleet continued to adjust their positions, their ships' crystalline surfaces reflecting starlight in beautiful but menacing patterns. Hanji noticed how they seemed to pulse in synchronization, almost like a heartbeat. She wondered if their ships were partially organic, a technology humanity had only begun to experiment with. Captain, Yummei called out. They're powering up their weapons. Energy signatures are spiking across all 30 vessels. Hanji nodded calmly. Hold position. Let them make the first move. She opened a channel to engineering. Chief Engineer Lee, how are our power reserves? Quantum core is operating at optimal levels, Captain, came the steady reply. We can maintain maximum shield strength for several hours if needed. All backup systems are ready. Commander Rill's image appeared on the screen again. His scales now pulsed with deep blue patterns that spread across his face. This is your final warning, human. Submit to our authority, or we will demonstrate why the Asterian Empire has never lost a battle. Hanji allowed herself a small smile. You know, Commander, there's an old saying on Earth. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Perhaps today would be a good day to consider peaceful alternatives. The alien commander's scales flashed bright red. You mock us? Very well. Let your destruction serve as humanity's first and last lesson in respecting superior species. The communication cut off abruptly. All hands, Hanji announced shipwide. Prepare for combat. Remember your training. We're about to show the Asterian Empire why humanity has survived every threat we've ever faced. She settled into her command chair, her posture relaxed but alert. Lieutenant Song, shield status. Quantum shields at full power, Captain. All defensive grids synchronized and ready. The Asterian ships began to glow brighter, their crystalline hulls channeling energy to their weapon systems. Hanji watched them carefully, waiting for the perfect moment to demonstrate just how much the aliens had underestimated humanity's capabilities. The silence before battle lasted only moments. The Asterian fleet's crystalline hulls blazed with brilliant light as they unleashed their first attack. Streams of plasma torpedoes, glowing like miniature suns, raced toward the Stormbreaker from multiple directions. The sheer number of projectiles created a beautiful but deadly light show against the backdrop of space. Lieutenant Park gripped his console tightly. Multiple plasma torpedoes incoming. Impact in 3 seconds. Captain Hanji remained perfectly still in her command chair, watching the approaching barrage with calm interest. The bridge crew held their breath as the plasma torpedoes struck the Stormbreaker's quantum shields. Instead of the devastating impact the Asterians expected, the torpedoes simply vanished in soft pulses of light, like raindrops hitting an invisible umbrella. The massive human battleship didn't even shudder. Shields holding at 99.8%, Young Mai reported, unable to keep a small note of pride from her voice. No significant energy drain detected. The quantum matrix is dispersing their attacks perfectly. On the main screen, Commander Rill's multiple eyes widened in obvious shock. His iridescent scales shifted rapidly through various colors, suggesting strong emotional turmoil. Impossible. Those were our most powerful weapons. Hanji allowed herself a small smile. Perhaps now would be a good time to demonstrate why humanity has survived countless conflicts, she suggested in a conversational tone. We've learned many lessons from our past, Commander. One of the most important is to always be better prepared than your opponent expects. She turned to Young Mi. Tactical, deploy the Aurora grid. Young Mi's fingers danced across her console. Deploying microdrones now, Captain. Aurora grid initializing. The space around the Stormbreaker came alive with movement as thousands of tiny drones emerged from hidden ports along the ship's hull. Each drone was barely larger than a human hand, but they moved with perfect coordination, spreading outward like a swarm of metallic insects. The Asterian fleet responded with another barrage of plasma torpedoes, but the drones easily dodged the attacks. They arranged themselves in an intricate three-dimensional pattern, forming a massive web that surrounded the alien vessels. What trickery is this? Commander Rill demanded, his scales now pulsing with angry red patterns. Aurora grid fully deployed, Young Mi announced. Energy web stable and ready. Hanji nodded. Activate the grid. The drones simultaneously activated their energy projectors, creating visible beams of blue-white light between them. Within seconds, the Asterian fleet was caught in a complex network of energy fields. Their ship's crystalline hulls dimmed noticeably as the grid began its work. Their weapon systems are powering down, reported Lieutenant Park. The grid is successfully disrupting their energy distribution networks. They're losing weapons control across all vessels. Commander Rill's image showed him barking orders to his crew, but nothing seemed to work. The mighty Asterian fleet, which had conquered 12 star systems, found itself completely neutralized by technology they couldn't even understand. What have you done to our ships? Rill demanded, his earlier arrogance replaced by a mix of fear and fascination. The Aurora grid is a non-lethal containment system, Hanji explained. It identifies and disrupts specific energy patterns, in this case, those associated with your weapons. Your life support and other critical systems remain unaffected. We developed this technology because we prefer to end conflicts without destruction when possible. The bridge crew watched as the Asterian ships tried various maneuvers to escape the energy web, but the drones smoothly adjusted their positions to maintain the grid's integrity. It was like watching a graceful dance, with the tiny human devices easily outmaneuvering the massive alien warships. Impossible, Rill whispered. Our sensors showed your species had only achieved space travel recently. How could you possess such advanced technology? Han-Ji stood from her command chair and approached the main screen. Commander, humanity's history is filled with conflicts that forced us to advance rapidly. But our greatest achievements came when we learned to channel our defensive capabilities into peaceful solutions. The Aurora Grid wasn't designed to destroy. It was designed to prevent destruction. She gestured at the now powerless Asterian fleet. Your ships are intact. Your crews are safe. We've demonstrated our technological superiority without taking a single life. Now, shall we discuss a peaceful resolution to this situation? The bridge fell quiet as they waited for Commander Rill's response. His scales had shifted to a deep blue color they hadn't seen before, and his multiple eyes blinked in what appeared to be a pattern of deep thought. Commander Rill's scales shifted through shades of deep blue as he stared at his useless control panels. The mighty Asterian fleet, which had conquered countless worlds, now floated helplessly in space, caught in an invisible web of human technology. His multiple eyes blinked rapidly, trying to make sense of their situation. What is this technology? He demanded, his earlier arrogance completely replaced by concern and confusion. How are you blocking our weapons without damaging our ships? Han-Ji maintained her calm demeanor as she explained. It's a non-lethal containment field, Commander. The Aurora Grid specifically targets weapon systems while leaving everything else untouched. We prefer to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. Your weapons are temporarily disabled, but your life support systems remain fully functional. On the Stormbreaker's bridge, the crew monitored their displays as data continued to stream in about the alien vessels. The Aurora Grid's drones were not just containing the Asterian fleet, they were also gathering detailed information about their technology. Chief Engineer Jai-Hun Lee's voice suddenly came over the comm system. Captain, I'm detecting something concerning in the data. The Asterian ships are showing signs of quantum instability in their drive cores. Their technology isn't nearly as advanced as we initially thought. The energy output from their attempted weapons fire has created microscopic fractures in their crystalline hull structure. Han-Ji processed this information quickly. Despite their impressive appearance and apparent military might, the Asterians might be in more danger from their own technology than from human weapons. She pressed a button on her command chair. Lieutenant Song, adjust the Aurora Grid's frequency. Create a dampening field around their drive cores. Adjusting now, Captain, Young Mai responded, her fingers moving swiftly across her console. The web of energy surrounding the alien fleet shifted slightly, taking on a subtle purple tinge. Commander Rill's eyes widened as new alerts appeared on his screens. What are you doing to our ships now? There was fear in his voice, but also a note of surprise as his ship's warning signals suddenly went quiet. Saving your crews, Commander, Han-Ji replied. Your drive cores were becoming unstable. We've contained the quantum fluctuations before they could reach dangerous levels. I suggest you power down your engines completely until your engineers can perform proper maintenance. The alien commander's scales rippled with yet another new color pattern, one that the human crew hadn't seen before. You detected the instability and knew how to contain it. His voice had lost all traces of its former arrogance, replaced by something that sounded almost like respect. Of course, Han-Ji said, standing from her command chair. Humanity learned long ago that the most dangerous thing in space isn't always your enemy. It's the technology you rely on to survive. We developed these containment systems not just as weapons, but as safety measures for our own ships. Lieutenant Park spoke up from his station. Captain, I'm detecting power fluctuations across the Asterian fleet. They're following your suggestion and shutting down their main drives. Han-Ji nodded approvingly. A wise decision, Commander. Now, shall we discuss terms for a peaceful resolution? I believe we both have much to learn from each other. Commander Rill was quiet for a moment, his scales slowly settling into a steady, calmer pattern. "You could have destroyed us," he said finally. "Our weapons were useless against your shields, and now we know our ships themselves are flawed. Yet you chose to help us instead." "Destruction is easy, Commander," Hanji replied. "Peace is harder, but far more valuable. Humanity has fought enough wars to learn that lesson well." The alien commander's posture changed subtly. Where before he had loomed over his command console trying to appear imposing, now he stood in a more relaxed manner. Perhaps the Asterian Empire has focused too much on conquest and not enough on understanding. Your single ship has taught us more in this brief encounter than we have learned in years of expansion. Yumne's console beeped softly. "Captain, the Asterian ship's power signatures are stabilizing. The quantum fluctuations are fully contained." Hanji smiled. "Excellent. Commander Rill, I propose we continue this discussion in person. The Stormbreaker has adequate docking facilities for your shuttle, and I believe a face-to-face meeting would be more productive. We can also have our engineers share their analysis of your drive core issues." For the first time, something resembling a smile appeared on Rill's alien features. "You continue to surprise us, Captain Kim. First you defeat us, then you save us, and now you invite us aboard your vessel. You humans are not what we expected." "I find that's often the case with first contacts, Commander," Hanji replied. "The universe is full of surprises. The question is whether we learn from them or not." The Stormbreaker's conference room offered a stunning view of space through its large observation windows. The Asterian fleet floated silently in the distance, their crystalline hulls now dimmed to a soft glow. Inside the room, Captain Hanji Kim sat at the head of the long table, facing Commander Rill and his 3 advisors. The alien visitors looked around the room with poorly concealed curiosity. Their scales shifted through various subtle colors as they took in the human technology surrounding them. The conference room's holographic displays showed detailed technical readings of both human and Asterian ships. "Your vessel is even more impressive from the inside," one of Rill's advisors noted, his multiple eyes blinking in sequence. "The efficiency of your systems is remarkable." Hanji noticed how the aliens kept glancing at the quantum shield readouts displayed on the wall screens. Their own tablets were busy scanning and recording everything they could, though the Stormbreaker's security systems carefully controlled what information was accessible. "Our historical records show no species capable of such defensive capabilities," Rill admitted, his scales taking on a deep blue hue that the humans were beginning to associate with thoughtfulness. "How did humans achieve this level of technology?" "By our estimates, your species only achieved spaceflight recently." Hanji took a moment before responding, choosing her words carefully. "Necessity," she replied, watching their reactions. "Earth's history is filled with conflicts that drove us to develop both powerful weapons and strong defenses. But more importantly, we learned the value of mercy and diplomacy." One of the alien advisors made a clicking sound that their translators didn't quite catch. "Yet your weapons and shields are far beyond what most species develop through normal conflict. Our own empire took centuries to develop plasma weapons, and our shields still cannot match yours." "Perhaps," Hanji suggested, "it's because we approached the problem differently. Instead of focusing on making bigger weapons, we looked for ways to make conflict unnecessary. The Aurora Grid wasn't developed as a weapon. It was originally designed to contain dangerous spatial anomalies to protect our colonies." Commander Rill leaned forward, his scales rippling with interest. "And you adapted this protective technology into a defense system. Fascinating. Our empire has always focused on offensive capabilities, believing the best defense was to strike first and hardest. A common philosophy," Hanji acknowledged, "but one that often leads to unnecessary destruction. Our history taught us that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the ability to prevent destruction." The conference room's displays shifted to show historical images from Earth's past, scenes of both conflict and peace, of technological advancement and diplomatic achievements. The Asterians watched with rapt attention as humanity's journey to the stars unfolded before them. "Look at this," one advisor said, pointing to an image of an early space station. They were already experimenting with quantum shielding before they had reliable interstellar travel. The efficiency of their technological development is remarkable. Han-Ji smiled slightly. When your planet has as many different nations and cultures as Earth does, you learn to either develop very good defenses or destroy yourselves. We chose defense, and then we chose cooperation. That's why the Stormbreaker carries more defensive and containment systems than actual weapons. Commander Rill's scales shifted to a new color, one that seemed to indicate deep understanding. "And that is why you didn't destroy our fleet when you had the chance. Your technology wasn't just more advanced, it was developed with a completely different philosophy." "Exactly," Han-Ji confirmed. "The Stormbreaker is the most powerful ship humanity has ever built, but its real strength lies in its ability to end conflicts without casualties. The Aurora Grid, the quantum shields, even our scanning systems, they're all designed to protect and understand rather than to destroy." The aliens exchanged looks, their scales shifting through various colors as they communicated in their own way. Finally, Rill spoke again, his voice carrying a new tone of respect. "Captain Kim, I believe the Asterian Empire has much to learn from humanity. Perhaps it is time for our people to consider a different approach to expansion and interaction with other species." Han-Ji nodded appreciatively. "And we would be happy to learn from you as well, Commander. Your crystalline technology, despite its current limitations, shows great potential. With some refinements, it could be revolutionary." The tension that had filled the room earlier had completely dissipated, replaced by an atmosphere of mutual curiosity and respect. As the meeting continued, both humans and Asterians began to realize that this near conflict might have opened the door to something far more valuable, a genuine partnership between their species. As the hours passed in the Stormbreaker's conference room, the scene transformed from a tense diplomatic meeting into something more like a cultural exchange. Holographic displays showed images from both Earth and Asterian worlds, while crew members from both ships shared stories of their journeys through space. Engineer Jae-Hun Lee had joined the meeting, bringing detailed analyses of the Asterian drive systems. He sat with their chief engineer, whose scales shimmered with excitement as they discussed potential improvements to their crystalline technology. These modifications to the quantum matrix could increase efficiency by 40%, Jae-Hun explained, pointing to a technical diagram floating above the table, "and it would eliminate the instability issues in your drive cores." The Asterian engineer's multiple eyes widened. "Such a simple solution, yet we never considered it. Our empire has always focused on making systems more powerful, not more stable." Meanwhile, Captain Han-Ji listened as Commander Rill described the Asterian homeworld, a planet orbiting a binary star system, where the crystalline technology had evolved naturally in response to the complex radiation patterns. "Our ships are grown, not built," Rill explained, his scales shifting to warm colors as he spoke of home. "Each vessel takes 20 years to reach maturity. That's why losing one in battle is particularly painful for our people." Han-Ji nodded thoughtfully. "That makes your empire's military success even more impressive. Though I wonder if there might be ways to protect your ships better, rather than risking them in combat." Lieutenant Park had set up a computer terminal where he demonstrated Earth's entertainment and art to fascinated Asterian cultural experts. They were particularly intrigued by human music, their scales rippling in rhythm with the classical pieces being played. "The mathematical patterns in your music," one Asterian observed, "they're surprisingly similar to the resonance frequencies our crystals naturally produce. Perhaps our species aren't as different as we first thought." As the exchange continued, Yum Ma-Song worked with Asterian tactical officers to develop new protocols for ship identification and communication, hoping to prevent future misunderstandings between their species. Commander Rill stood by the observation window, watching his fleet floating peacefully alongside the Stormbreaker. "Your technology could have destroyed our entire fleet," he acknowledged quietly to Han-Ji. "Instead, You chose to disable our weapons and open dialogue. This wisdom, it is not something we expected from a younger species. Hanji joined him at the window. Sometimes the strongest weapon is the choice not to use one. Would the Asterian Empire be interested in discussing a mutual cooperation agreement? Rill's scales shifted to a new color, one that seemed to indicate hope. A cooperation agreement between our empire and humanity. Why not? Hanji gestured to the room full of humans and Asterians working together. Look at what we've accomplished in just a few hours. Imagine what we could achieve through real cooperation. Your crystal technology combined with our quantum engineering. Your experience in space travel with our defensive innovations. The alien commander was quiet for a moment, watching his crew members interact with the humans. Our empire has never considered true alliance with another species before. We've always either conquered or avoided them. But perhaps that approach has limited our own growth. Change can be difficult, Hanji acknowledged, but it often leads to the greatest advances. Today, your fleet came looking for conquest and instead found partnership. I'd say that's a more valuable discovery than any military victory. Rill turned his multiple eyes to her. You know, in all our years of expansion, no species has ever shown us a better way to do things. They either fought and lost, or surrendered and were absorbed. But humanity, you didn't just defeat us. You showed us a new path forward. Hanji smiled. Then shall we walk that path together? I'm sure Earth's government would be very interested in establishing formal diplomatic relations with the Asterian Empire. The commander's scales rippled with decisive colors. Yes, I believe it's time for the Asterian Empire to evolve, to learn new ways of interaction and growth. He extended a scaled hand toward Hanji. Let us make history together, Captain Kim. As they shook hands, human and Asterian, both leaders knew they were witnessing the beginning of something extraordinary. What had started as a potential battle had transformed into the foundation of an alliance that would change both their civilizations forever. The gleaming hull of the UES Stormbreaker reflected Earth's blue radiance as it maintained a steady orbit above the planet. 1 month had passed since the historic first contact between humanity and the Asterian Empire, and today marked the official signing of the Human-Asterian Cooperation Treaty. In the ship's main observation deck, Captain Hanji Kim stood beside Commander Rill, watching as delegates from both civilizations gathered for the ceremony. The large viewing windows offered a spectacular view of Earth below and the combined fleet above. Human and Asterian vessels floating together in peaceful formation. A month ago, I would have called this scene impossible. Rill mused, his scales shimmering with joyful colors. Our ships flying alongside yours, not in battle, but in celebration. The observation deck had been transformed for the occasion. Holographic displays showed live feeds from both Earth and the Asterian homeworld, allowing citizens of both species to witness this historic moment. The room was filled with both human and Asterian officials, their quiet conversations creating a harmonious blend of human speech and the musical tones of the Asterian language. On the Stormbreaker's bridge, Lieutenant Young Misong and Lieutenant Da Park watched the ceremonial fleet display through their main viewport. The crystalline Asterian ships had regained their brilliant glow, their hulls pulsing with inner light as they performed intricate maneuvers alongside human vessels. Look at how smoothly they move now, Young Mai remarked, monitoring the fleet's formations. Those drive core modifications really made a difference. Day nodded, his fingers dancing across his console as he tracked the ship's movements. And their crystal technology has improved our sensor capabilities beyond anything we thought possible. The combination of our quantum systems with their crystalline matrices is revolutionary. Chief Engineer Jai-Hun Lee's voice came over the bridge speakers. The Asterians are already incorporating our shield technology into their new ship designs, he reported, reviewing the latest technical exchanges. Their next generation of vessels will be far more resilient than anything they've built before. And we're learning just as much from their propulsion systems, Hanji added as she returned to the bridge. This is how first contact should be. not through conquest, but through understanding and mutual respect. The ceremony proceeded smoothly, with leaders from both civilizations signing the historic treaty. As they did so, the combined fleet above performed a synchronized light display, human ships activating their quantum shields while Asterian vessels pulsed with crystalline energy, creating a spectacular show of unity. Commander Rill approached Hanji on the bridge, his scales now showing the deep blue of contemplation. "You know, Captain, when we first encountered your ship, we thought we were the superior species. How wrong we were. Not just about your technology, but about your wisdom." Hanji smiled. Superior, inferior. These terms mean little in the face of what we can achieve together. Already our scientists are making discoveries that neither of our species could have made alone. Through the viewport, they could see the first joint human-Asterian research vessel taking shape in Earth's orbit. Its hull combined the sleek lines of human design with the organic beauty of Asterian crystal technology, a physical representation of their new alliance. "The exploration fleet is ready," Captain Youngmai reported. "All ships report their quantum crystal hybrid drives are functioning perfectly." Hanji took her place in the command chair. "Then it's time for the next chapter in our shared history. Signal all vessels, human and Asterian, to prepare for departure." The Stormbreaker's quantum drives hummed to life, their power enhanced by newly integrated crystalline technology. Above Earth, other ships of the joint fleet began powering up their engines, creating a symphony of human and Asterian engineering. As the combined fleet prepared to venture into uncharted space, Hanji reflected on how quickly everything had changed. The Stormbreaker, built to defend humanity against potential threats, had instead become a bridge between civilizations. Now it would lead both species into a future neither could have imagined just 1 month ago. "All ships report ready," Day announced. "Asterian vessels are synchronized with our navigation systems. Then let's show the universe what our species can achieve together," Hanji said. "Engage quantum crystal drives. Take us into the unknown." The Stormbreaker led the way as the fleet departed Earth's orbit, human and Asterian ships moving as one into the vast expanse of space. Their combined lights created a brilliant display against the darkness, a beacon of hope for future first contacts, showing that understanding could triumph over conflict, and cooperation could achieve more than conquest ever could.